Would I be the asshole for leaving them to their own mess and taking the cat? Last week my mother asked if I could take care of her house while she and my stepdad went on a much-needed vacation. This is a normal thing for us with them going on vacations every couple months and me taking care of the house and any pets, no payment needed. Recently they adopted the most lovable adorable cat who is apple of my dad's eye. This cat is the best sweetest lil guy who loves hugs and cuddles and I absolutely adore him. To my allergies protest, I let little man cuddle me and ride around on my shoulders while I move about the house taking Benadryl and using my inhaler. The cat is not the problem. The problem is what my stepsister and her boyfriend do every time my parents go on vacation. Once the suitcases are in the trunk, the wheels hit the road. Those two are in the house eating everything, making messes, leaving the doors open, and making themselves at home. My parents have been gone for less than 24 hours, and I have only been out of the house to sleep and take care of my own pets. In the time I was gone, the house is a complete mess. The sink and dishwasher are full of dirty dishes, there is mud and leaves all over the floors, the garbage is overflowing, and to my horror the sliding back door was left slightly open. Luckily, the cat was too scared to leave the house. As soon as I walked in the door this morning, he came running to me hungry and locked out of the bedroom where his bed because that's where my stepsister and her boyfriend have holed up. I made sure to cuddle the little guy to help calm the fear he had and fill his toppled over feeder. Begrudgingly I started cleaning up the mess, but when I made it to the second bathroom with its toilet unflushed and shit streaks all over the rim of the seat, I lost what little cool I had left. I've tried banging on the door to tell the two to leave, but from what my deaf ass can tell is that they're refusing to come out and they won't answer any texts. Significant other: would I be the asshole to take the cat back to my house with me until my parents get home and let them deal with the mess that is stepsister and her boyfriend? Update. Well, my mom and I had a talk. She agreed that the two shouldn't be in the house, but since they have the garage code, that's on them. She said we've already spoke about this with their last vacation. When it comes to the stepsister and her boyfriend, I'll have to deal with it until she and dad get home. I know that with you being there, everything will be fine when we get back. As long as the house is clean, she says all is good. She and I will have to have a talk about this whole ordeal when she gets home from her cruise. In her mind it's just a little allergy and I'm being sensitive. Everything is going to be fine. Yeah, I wouldn't really use the word fine to describe anything here. I'm finding out just how far I can push my cat allergy and it's not going so well. So for the comment that said it felt like they were doing it on purpose. You were right, it seems my mom is. Sadly, I don't think my dad has any idea what's going on, but that tends to be how things are with those two. Looks like my mom lost her housesitter after this vacation. I'll clean it and leave a list with pictures of everything that needs cleaning or fixed while they were gone, that way my dad can see it all as well. As for the kitty, little man is doing just fine and is a ball of furry energy. My fiancé is going to be taking care of him when they're off work so I can get breaks and quarantine myself away until I can calm my hives and swelling. I'll only have to be full contact with the little guy for 8-ish hours a day, so here's to Benadryl and my inhaler for helping me make it through. Edit. So sorry everyone. I didn't word that last part right. I am not cleaning up the nastiness that is the stepsister and boyfriend, I am cleaning up the kitty mess. He is an anxious eater and digger, so I cleaned up the kitty food and litter on the floor. I didn't want there to be anything the two could blame on the cat. No worries, the list of things is what I found needing to be cleaned with pictures and today's date so they can see the progression of the mess. Not the asshole. You being their maid wasn't part of the deal you agreed to. Let those disgusting, foul pigs suffer the consequences when your folks get home. Not the asshole take the cat and all of its supplies. Send your parents a text explaining what you are doing and why, today. Send them photos of the condition of the home and let them know you are not a babysitter and will not be cleaning up after your stepsister. Ask them if they want you to call the police to have the stepsister and boyfriend escorted out and you can change the code on the doors, or if they want to deal with them when they return home. Not the asshole. Take the sweet kitty and leave. You know they're being mean to that baby. Leave the house trashed, let your parents figure out how to deal with this. And make sure to tell them, especially your dad, how they left the poor fuzzy locked out without food. If you don't take that cat now, something bad will happen. They'll let it out, or hurt it. Please save the kitty. Edited to fix spelling mistakes. Take pics of the messes, including the grossness of the blown-up toilet, too. Text it to both your mom and dad daily. Don't let your dad abdicate responsibility to your mom and just pretend not to know. Also, copy your sis. Shame might make her clean up better. At least you will all have the exact same frame of reference. Of course, your mom has been fine with this, because she doesn't have to deal with the problem. Pictures have a way of making people deal with reality. They can't pretend it's not that bad, or, I don't remember that, are you sure you're not imagining it? Why should their comfort and pleasure come at your expense? Not the asshole. Don't clean the house. Let them come home to it. Let them see what happened. Am I the asshole for my wedding rules? I have just finished my information slip for my wedding rules, food, driving directions. I made a copy for everyone attending but showed my grandma, Jess, first. She became very upset, saying it's too many rules. But when I said that most of the slip was about the food, she told me that I'm being a bitch about the rules. This is what the slip says. This event is semi-formal at the church, and guests are requested to wear blue, purple, light pink, champagne, or black. Please be mindful that the reception will mostly be outside, grass. So flats, sneakers are advised to be brought as well. For your comfort, the top line is only a request. That is the color scheme and I wanted to include it in case anyone wanted to match. But I've already told people that if they wanted to wear a bright red dress or lime green tux, I really don't care. No white attire, excluding shoes, accessories. Guests wearing white attire will be asked to leave or change. If a refusal is made, the guest will be escorted from the event. Children are expected to behave and not interrupt the ceremony first dance. If a child is being disruptive, please take them outside for a breather. There is a children's area just for the kids, but if a parent wanted their child with them, this is for that parent. No proposals, pregnancy announcements. Attempts will result in the guests being removed from the event. +1s are discouraged due to the size of the bride's family. However, if you would like to add someone to your invitation, please first let the bride, groom know with your party's head count. I tried to include some humor, but she also was offended by this line. I have an enormous family, and I don't have enough money to provide food for that many people, so I only invited immediate family, close friends, and people contributing to the event. I also invited their partners as well. For example, I'm inviting my great aunt, and her partner along with it, or another would be that I'm inviting my younger brothers, so I included their siblings and parents as well. About 60 people total, including bridesmaids, groomsmen. The bottom half of the slip is food, drink, mine and my husband's phone numbers, and the driving directions. I'm considering rewording some things. I feel like I worded it badly. And maybe separating it into one slip each: rules, food, and driving directions. My husband and co-workers, haven't told anyone else, are saying I should only change Jess's slip. For extra context, Jess hasn't contributed anything because I don't want her to. She helped me out a lot with furniture, appliances when I got my first apartment, and I've just finished paying her back. Am I the asshole for my wedding rules? And #X200B. Edit. The information slip is not also the invite. I have revised the information slip, using advice from many of you, but mostly from Heidi Smiles and Does the Octopus Care? Thank you so much. It now reads, this event will be held at a church, and semi-formal attire is recommended. The wedding colors are blue, purple, light pink, champagne and black, and guests are invited but not required to join in dressing in these colors. A children's area will be provided, and families are welcome to have their children in the area at any time during the day. We do not have room for additional guests or +1s, sorry. This font should be matching the rest, sorry. McAllister's will be provided. Mac and cheese, soup, salad, fruit, chips, variety sandwiches, brownies, and cookies. If you have any allergies or food intolerance, please let us know at XXX/XXX4X. Drinks will include water, lemonade, diet lemonade, sweet tea, unsweet tea, Coke, Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper, Diet Dr. Pepper, Sprite, Sprite Zero, and root beer. Driving directions. I am going to share this with Jess tonight and see what she thinks. You are the asshole. A printed list of rules? If you think your guests don't know how to behave at a wedding, then don't invite them. What you have submitted is controlling and childish, in my opinion. When security removes a guest for breaking the rules, how do you think the rest of your event is going to go? I personally have one rule when it comes to attending weddings. Don't attend weddings that come with rules. This is a piss take, right? Wow. That's insane. No wedding invitation should include a manual. Jess was right, your rules are assholish. You are the asshole. Am I the asshole for breaking my fiancé's family tradition by naming my son what I wanted? Throwaway because I have in-laws on Reddit. Myself, 25F, and my fiancé, 27M, have a 2-month-old son. We are overjoyed at being parents, but most of my in-laws are refusing to even see our baby because of a decision we made concerning his name. My in-laws have a tradition of giving the firstborn son of every generation the same name. Let's say it's Peter. This has been going on for about 7 generations already, and they're very serious about it. My fiancé's eldest cousin was the latest person to get named Peter. Every one of his cousins has only had daughters so far, so our baby is the first son of his generation, and consequently should get the name. I have no problem with the name Peter, and would have been okay with naming my son that. Unfortunately, that was also the name of my uncle, who died before I was born. I won't get into details, but it was tragic and traumatizing for my family. My father never got over losing his younger brother. My grandmother asked the family not to name any of our future children Peter during her lifetime. My Mill and Phil knew about this promise, and at first seemed to not only be okay with us avoiding the name Peter, but also supportive of the one we chose. However, my grandmother sadly passed away when I was 7 months pregnant. We traveled for her funeral. On our last days there, my in-laws called to offer me their condolences. Then my Mill asked me if I was willing to think about the name Peter now. Suddenly, they were insistent that the name we chose was awful and we had to honor their tradition. According to them, they had only agreed to make an exception for us for my grandmother's sake, and had no obligation to keep it now that she had passed. My family agrees that while it's true we don't have to avoid the name anymore, it still doesn't feel right to use it. My fiancé agrees with me as well, but his parents spent the last weeks of my pregnancy trying to convince us to change our minds about the name. When our baby was born and we named him what we wanted, my in-laws were furious that we had broken a 7-generation-old family tradition. Some of them hadn't previously wanted to name their sons Peter, but did it anyway for the family's sake. They said our decision was selfish, and that my family should have moved on by now. This has truly nothing to do with whether my family has moved on or not, it just felt like a betrayal to my grandmother and uncle's memories to even consider using the name. My Phil offered us $1,000 to change our son's name to Peter after he was born. That was 2 months ago, and neither of my fiancé's parents have met the baby or seen us since I was pregnant. Most of my in-laws are on their side, and this is causing a huge rift between my fiancé and his family. He assures me he's fine, but I'm starting to feel really guilty about this. Am I the asshole? Edit. The tradition started, as far as I know, when Odd Peter died and his son, also named Peter, named his firstborn after his father. Peter III ended up having the first son of the following generation, and did the same thing. That one died before having children, so his sister gave the name to her son, and so on. The name, Peter, is very common in my country, so none of them ever got bullied over it, and the fact that it was also my uncle's name isn't as unlikely as one might think. Also, middle names aren't common in my country. Most people get the maternal surname before the paternal one instead. Edit 2. It wasn't $1,000. Different country, different currency. It's still a lot of money, but would probably translate to about $200 US. Not the asshole. After 7 generations I think it's time that their family moved on. Not the asshole. You are never an asshole for naming your child something that you want, unless the name is really fucking stupid. But even so, you have that right because it's your kid. Tell Mill that she can get a puppy and name it Peter if she cares so damn much. Not the asshole. Some hadn't wanted to name their kid Peter but did it for the family's sake. Have you broken a pact with Satan or something? But most of my in-laws are refusing to even see our baby because of a decision we made concerning his name. Good. Lunatics should never be around babies. Or kids. Or me. Or you. Not the asshole. Your kid. Your call. Just be aware that your kid may be offered cash in the future to change his name. They sound desperate. Am I the asshole for standing up for my girlfriend when she told me not to? I, 27M, have been dating my GF, Mia, 25F, for 5 years. She is the most amazing person I have ever met. Smart, funny, kind to a fault, and I could keep listing her qualities, but that's not what this post is about. What is relevant here is that she is shy and has problems with confrontation. She sees a therapist to work on this and some other issues, and she's a lot more confident than when I met here. Except when it comes to my mom. My mom is one of those moms. You know, the kind who thinks no one is good enough for their baby boy. I only see her when I visit for Christmas, Easter, and the handful of Zoom, FaceTime calls scattered through the year. I love my mom, but I do not enjoy being around her, especially since she has problems with Mia. Usually Mia doesn't join me, but this year my entire extended family was visiting and she wanted to meet some of my cousins. She told me very specifically that she wanted to be the one to handle her problems with my mom. The family gathering was going really well. I was having a beer with my cousin who I hadn't seen in a couple years and no drama to speak of up to that point. Then I heard my mom yelling. I ran towards the commotion and saw my mom and Mia arguing. Mia saw me and said stay out of it, but I could see she was holding back tears. My mom then asked what I saw in some floozy, yes really, and that's when I stepped in. A bit of back and forth arguing lead to me giving my mom an ultimatum. Either accept that I love Mia and treat her with respect, or I go and see. Still haven't gotten a response on that. We left and bought a hotel room for the rest of the trip. In the car, Mia was really angry and said that my mom doesn't respect her because she doesn't get a chance to fight her own battles. I told her that she can't expect me to not get involved when she's upset like that. Things have still been tense since we got home and I'm starting to wonder if I should have just let her handle it. Update. Mia came home from work a little over an hour ago and I asked if we could sit down and talk. I started out by apologizing for not staying out of it when she was arguing with my mom. It wasn't my intention to undermine her or treat her like she couldn't handle it on her own. I then went into a lot more detail about my mom, my relationship with her, and my beliefs that her problem with Mia wasn't really about her. I had told her some stuff before, but she didn't know what it was like growing up with my mom. She was quiet for most of it. After I said my piece I asked her how she felt. She started crying. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail, but there was more baggage about this than I ever thought. She said she wasn't mad at me for it. Well, in the moment she was. She was just frustrated and upset that my mom wouldn't accept her still after 5 years together. She also thought that me stepping in like I did gave my extended family a bad impression of her, and she didn't really know how to process all the emotions she was feeling. I told her I don't care what they think since she's the one for me and that's all that mattered. I showed her this post and we've been reading through a lot of comments together. I asked if she'd be alright with me posting this update and she said yes, and now she's making dinner as I type this out. We're not sure whether we'll go NC or just LC with my mom, but I'm just glad that it worked out. Thank you all for taking the time to read and comment. Nah, your girlfriend has every right to want to stand up for herself and not wanting you to swoop into her defense. But also, the way I see it, while your mom is targeting your GF, she's also creating problems for you by doing that and you have every right to set boundaries with you. Could you have picked a better moment to do it? Yes, probably. WIBTA. I understand both why you did and why your girlfriend is angry. Edit. No Oz except for Mom OFC. No assholes here. I get where Mia is coming from, but you will always kind of have some sort of involvement in disagreements with your mom, as she's your mom. I also think you were not just standing up for Mia, but standing up for yourself as well to try and put an end to confrontation like this occurring. But I would have a chat with her about this to try and make amends, as she absolutely wanted to try and resolve this issue on her own. You have, even if unintentionally, undermined that. I would cut out your mom though, that seems to be far more stress than it's worth. Not the asshole. Everything I heard or ever read says the boyfriend or husband should deal with his own family and vice versa. It's unreasonable for her to ask you not to stand up for her with your own family. I think it's pretty common in people who have issues with boundaries to think that if they get better at boundaries, then other people will automatically treat them better. But some people just won't, as you well know based on your past relationship with your mom. Mia needs to understand that this is not going to get better no matter how good she gets at boundary setting. Bruh. Generally I am not able to read such long posts, but on a general note, in contrast between wife and mom, generally wife is the reason for change.